Hello everyone, welcome back to the Java tutorial series. In this video, we will learn one of the most important concepts in Java, that is classes and objects. Everything in Java revolves around objects. It's essential to understand what classes and objects are and how they work together. So, what is a class? Class is a blueprint. Class is a blueprint or template. What is the use of class? It is used to create objects. So think of a class as a blueprint for building a house. Okay. The blueprint contains the design, but you cannot live inside the blueprint, right? Similarly, a Java class only defines what an object should have. So class defines what an object should have. Okay, and what it can do. Class does not occupy memory for actual data until an object is created. That means object will have the data. Okay, so class is just a blueprint which has the properties and behaviors. Okay, class will define properties and behavior that an object will be having. An object is a output, final product of a class. Okay, so what is an object? An object is the actual entity created from a class. Okay, it is a real world instance of a class. So object is a final product. Okay, final product. Okay, object is a final product. For example, if car is a class, okay, car is a class, then what will be the final product? It can be BMW, Audi, whatever. Okay, so these are like final products. These are objects, and this is blueprint. It has properties and behavior. What kind of property, what kind of behavior one car should have. So those details are there in the car. This is class. Okay, so each object, okay, each object has its own data. Okay, but shares the same structure which is defined in the car class. So let's understand with the real life examples. A class represents a category. Object represent actual memory of that category. Okay, actual memory, or you can say final product. Object is a final product and class is a blueprint. So here we can see in the examples, car is a class, and what is the final product of a car? BMW, Audi, Tesla. So BMW will have the properties and behavior, will have properties and behavior which is defined in the class. Okay, these are the list of classes. Similarly, Audi will also have properties and behavior which is defined in the class car, and similarly Tesla. But behavior can be different for this BMW, Audi, Tesla. Okay, but those properties and behavior will be defined in the class car. Now let's take another example. There is class student. The final object is what? Rahul, Priya and John. So Rahul and Priya, okay, so these are student final product, Rahul and Priya. So they will have properties and behavior which is defined in student class. Okay, similarly mobile, Samsung, iPhone, OnePlus. So this mobile phone have the properties and behaviors which is defined in the mobile class. Similarly, employee. These are the names of employees, and these all are having properties and behaviors which is defined in employee class. What do we mean by property and behavior? Okay, behavior means methods. Methods, different methods. What is the functionality? That is behavior. Different functionality. Okay. So a class represents a category. Okay. Now let's go to IntelliJ and see some examples for better clarity. Okay. So let's create one class, new Java class. We will give the name of class as student. Hit enter. So this is class. Okay. Now inside class will have properties. Okay, what I did. So inside class, what do we have? Properties and behaviors. Behaviors. Behaviors or methods. We can say. Methods or functionality. Okay. Methods. So what properties a student will have? A student can have properties such as string name. It can have name, age, or whatever. Okay. Then what are the methods? What are the behaviors a student can have? So let's say void study. Study is method in which I will just print one line. Student is studying. That's it. So this is one behavior of a student. Study. Behavior means method. What it is doing, it is just simply printing student is studying. That's it. So a class is having properties, name and age, and have behavior methods, that is study. So this is a blueprint of student. Okay, this is a blueprint of student. So when an object will be created of this student class, okay, then that object will have these properties, name and age, and these value, this behavior study. Okay, so let's initialize the object student. Let's say Rahul equals to new student. Okay, now we will define student Priya equals to new student. So these are two objects of student. These are objects of student class. Since we are using new keyword, the object will get created. Okay, now Rahul has properties and Priya has properties and behaviors both. Now let's say Rahul dot age Rahul dot name plus, we'll give space, Rahul dot age, and we'll call Rahul dot study. Similarly, for Priya also we'll do the same. Okay, we'll print Priya dot name plus Priya dot age, then Priya dot study. Okay, for now I will comment this part. Now we will run the program and see the output. See, a student is studying printed 2 times. Why? One for Rahul and one for Priya. So these are two objects of a student class. So this is Rahul is an object of student class. Similarly, Priya is an object. What does it mean? So here in this line, student Rahul equals to new student. Okay, so new student means what? This is object, right? So in which memory area this is new student will be going? This will be going to heap memory, new student, this object will. And this is what? Reference variable. So it will be going on the stack memory area. And Rahul will have the memory location of this object. So Rahul will point to this object in the heap memory. I hope it is clear. Rahul is a reference variable which is referring to object, this object, new student. And this object has property and behavior. What property? We have defined in the student class, right? See, name and age. These are the properties. And what is the behavior? Study. So this object in the heap memory will have property name and age and have behavior study. So properties and behavior will be residing in this object. Okay, let me show you the diagram. So student Rahul equals to new student. Okay, so this new student is an object. It is sitting in the heap memory, and this Rahul is a reference variable. It is sitting in the heap memory, stack and heap. Okay, and one more method area. Here we will have student dot class file. Okay, student dot class. So in the heap memory we will be having object, student object. It will have some memory location. So this memory location will be stored in the stack memory location of this object. Okay, memory location of this object. So since this is a reference variable and it has the reference of the object, that is memory location, it will point to this object. Okay, And what this object will contain? This object will contain CP, class pointer. Class pointer will pointing to this class, student.class. And what else it will have? It will have properties and behaviors. This object will have properties and behavior. What properties? Name and age. What is the name? Rahul. What is the age? 20. What is the behavior? Study. So all those things will be residing in this object. Okay. So that's how it internally works for this execution of this statement. Student Rahul equal to new student. Okay, Rahul is a reference variable. It is referring to object that is new student, and this object has name Rahul, age 20, and it has behavior, that is method we defined, that is study. I hope you remember. So now it is clear how it is referring to the object. Rahul is referring to the object. Let's go back to IntelliJ. Okay. Similarly for Priya, and how we are calling the method of the student class using dot. Okay. So reference variable Rahul dot study. So it is what inside study we have print statement, student is studying. So these two statements got printed, one for Rahul, another for Priya. You might be thinking why I commented this line. Okay, so we will understand this thing in the later videos, why I commented. So just for this video we'll understand the behavior methods, how to invoke methods. So using reference variable dot method name. Okay, so student is a class. It contains two instance variable, name and age, that is property. It also contains one method called study. This class simplified defines what every student object should contain. Every student object should contain name and age and study method. Similarly for Priya, name and age is the property and study is the method. And also in this line we are creating an object. Okay, Rahul is a reference variable and this one is the object. We will understand the concept of constructor in the later videos. So here, see, you can see we are not providing any parameters, any arguments, right? Why? Because we have not created any constructor in this class. We'll see the concept of constructor, and after that, in that video, we'll see this example, how to get the properties. Okay, we'll use getter and setter methods for those things. Still, this is incorrect. We'll use getter and setter methods. For now, you understand the method only. Okay. So this is like basic things for class and objects, how the object is getting created in the heap memory, and how the reference variable is pointing, and how the dot class file is loaded in the method area. Okay. So one thing is like, while creating object only we can assign values. Another way we can assign values explicitly. Okay, let's say Rahul dot name equals to, we can assign something, right? Rahul. Likewise, Rahul dot age equals to, we can assign anything, 22. Similarly for Priya we can assign. Okay, so Priya dot name equals to Priya, and Priya dot age equals to 20. So we can assign the properties value like this. So after creating an object, we can access its variables, okay, and methods using dot operator. You can see, right? These are what? Properties. Name and age are properties. Study are behavior, that is method. And how we are invoking all these things? using dot operator. And we have also seen creating multiple objects. We have created two objects, one Rahul and Priya. Okay. So a single class can create multiple objects. Each object has its own copy of instance variable. Okay, changing one object's data does not affect another object. Why it will not affect? Since these both objects are totally different. This will be sitting somewhere in the heap memory. This object will be sitting somewhere in the heap memory. So this object is nothing to do with this object. We can manipulate whatever property and behavior we want for both the objects. Okay. And we have seen the memory representation, how this is working internally, and which is residing in stack, which is residing in heap memory, and what files are loaded in the method area. Okay. So let's see the class and object. Okay. Class and object. So remember this difference is a class is only a template. Okay. Class is only a template. An object is the actual implementation of that template. One class can create 1,000 of objects. Okay. Since it is blueprint, with one class we can create 1,000 of objects. So object is what? Real instance. It is a logical entity. It will define what properties and behaviors that object should have. Those definition will be residing in the class. Object is the final product, physical entity. Class is no memory for instance data. It's just a definition, no memory. Okay. But object is the final product. It occupies memory, where it resides in the heap memory. Class used to create objects. Okay, what kind of object, what property it will have, what behavior it will have, that object will have, those definition will be present in the class. And object will be created on the basis of the definition present in the class. That's why it is written, created from class. Class is defined once, and with the help of one class we can create many objects. Okay. So let's take one example altogether, we'll understand. So we have a student class, right? This is a student class. Now we will create one main method, that is the entry point, right? Main method string and args. Okay. So inside main method we will, let's say student s1 equals to, we are creating an object. Okay, new student, and we will assign some name, student. So the name equals to Vicky, and let's say s1 dot age equals to 20. Yeah. So name and age are properties of a student class. Okay. Now instead of study, I will modify this thing. Okay, I will add one more behavior or method for this student class. Let's say void display. Okay, display, and it will display the name of name and age. Okay, so name and age. So how we will write here? Name plus space plus age. Okay. So this method, what it will do, it will just simply print the property value, name and age. Okay. Now this is one behavior which is printing the properties value. I will call this method. how to call the method, how to call the behavior of a object. This one dot display. Okay, display. Now if we run this program, what will be the output? So first in the line number 19, it is creating an object in heap memory, and once object is created, we are updating the value, the name to wiki and age to 20. So properties got updated in these two lines, and after that we are calling the behavior, that is method display. So student class has one behavior, that is display. What it is doing? It is printing name and age. So we should get output wiki space 20. Let's verify. So here in the output you can see, right, wiki space 20. So that's how it works. So we need to remember some of the key points. Okay, we need to remember some key points. What are those key points? So let's quickly summarize what we have learned so far. Okay, so class is a blueprint, template you can say. An object is an instance of a class, final product of a class, instance. We call it instance. Objects are created using new keyword. We have seen in the IntelliJ how we are using new keyword, and with whenever we use new keyword, the object is created where? In the heap memory. Okay, every object has its own data. What do you mean by data? Every object has its own data. Own data means own properties and behaviors. Okay, properties, name and age, we have seen just now for Rahul and Priya. So Rahul has another object, Priya is another object. So for Rahul, properties, name and age will be different. For Priya, name and age will be different. So every object has its own data. Methods define an object's behavior. Okay, so whatever method is present inside the class, that can be executed by the object, and we can modify based on the object also. We'll see in the later videos. One class can create multiple objects. We have seen, right? With one class we can create multiple objects. We have seen example, student was a class and we created multiple objects from this, Rahul and Priya. Okay, using new keyword we can create n number of objects with the same class, same template, same blueprint. That's why its name is, we are in definition we say as a blueprint. Okay, so that's all for this video. I hope this tutorial helped you understand the concept of class and object. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.